A silver-haired beauty, Alia Mikhailovna Kujo, makes a dazzling entrance to cause an uproar at Siren Academy, whose father is Russian. This chick with Russian genes seems to be excelling in literally everything and is known to be a student council treasurer. Suddenly, Ando, from his second year, tries to get cheesy with this chick, asking her out for lunch right in public. But hey, this beauty has no time for a dumbhead loafer like him. After rejecting a super popular diva boy from the academy, everyone wonders how much higher her standards are. Later, she settles down on her desk, making everyone gasp at her mesmerizing presence, and the first thing she does is wish Kuza a good morning. With no quick response, she blows a kick to his chair, almost making the lad trip over, asking if he again binged anime overnight. Upon asking, Kuza mentions chit-chatting with his otaku mates for straight up to 2 hours. Though this chick desires to know if he has dumped his brain somewhere, Kuze states he is a fool for expressing his love for a piece of work regardless of time. With her usual huffy-puffy attitude, she considers this guy to be a hopeless fool. Watching him yawn like a buffoon, she slips out, saying he looks cute but quickly changes her mind when Kuze catches him. So she ends up calling this brat an ugly mess. Afterwards, struggling to get to his chemistry textbook, he asks Alia if he could borrow it. Thus, this chick learns that this dimwit again forgot his book at home, so she gives in. Attaching their desk, Alia notices Kuze dozing off, so she pierces him with a pencil and the dude raises his hand like a class clown. Just then, his teacher demands an answer right away, but Kuju points at the book to be copper, which, by the way, was a trap for this sleepyhead. After spitting out the wrong answer, the professor goes for Alia, who ends up hitting the right answer, which is nickel. Though the lad tries to confront this crazy chick, she again ends up calling him cute but changes her words rather quickly to call him a fool for the second time. Flipping his lad, his whacked brain can't get what this chick is up to, as Alia notices him blushing like a baby. Looking at her, Kuze remembers playing with a Russian girl near his grandpa's house, so he bets that he knows most of the Russian language. However, this cracked brain has no clue how he ended up sitting with a Russian beauty who uses Russian to hide her feelings. However, imagining her flushed and blushed body collapsing when knowing he knows Russian concerns him even more, as it sends shivers down his spine. Later on, Alia, ever the grumpy chick, scolds Kuza for breaking school rules by using his phone at school, but the lad shuts her up by saying it is for an emergency. Upon asking, Kuza shared that his free card draw would be over in 10 minutes, which annoyed our grumpy queen, Alia. Out of the blue, Kuze screams at the top of his lungs about getting SSR Tsukoyami, but Alia sees this golden chance to confiscate his phone right under his nose. But the chick learns he landed a moon goddess from Japanese mythology, and her silver hair concerns her even more. Kuza believes it matches the moon, but asks her to dump the details and admire her beauty instead. Getting off a stinky eye, she hands his phone back to him as she watches him drool over Lord Tsukoyami. Just then, he hears Alia using Russian to tell him she is silver-haired as well, fooling him into calling her a dimwit loser. And this catches the poor loser off guard, trying to act like he didn't hear anything. At lunch, Baldi cries hard, yearning to be popular. Out of the blue, the lot watches the student council beauties emerge out of nowhere, where Alia and her sister Maria are having trouble finding seats. So Maria, the secretary, decides to have a bite with her classmates instead, as Yuko Suu, the public relations girl, gets adjusted to their wishes. Everyone is drooling over those girls as this guy tells Kuza that Maria Kuju got a boyfriend. However, Kuza bet Takeshi stands no chance before that doll anyway. But Takeshi, fuming mad, tells this dude to drop his cocky attitude just because he knows Alia Kuju. Well, Baldi's jealous bum can't digest the fact that he got personal nickname privileges with Alia. While Kuza ponders hard about Alia, Lady bets he got a chance with Sue instead. However, the other guy thinks that Chick is far better at rejecting confessions than the Kuju sisters. Just then, Suo, blushing like a ripped tomato, asks Kuza if he has enough seats over his table. Looks like Takeshi's dream is about to come true. While Kuza and Sue eat the same ramen, they wonder to bring up about putting some chili oil on the menu. Ever the grumpy doll, Alia asks if these two are close, as Sue mentions being Kuza's childhood friend since kindergarten. Although she wishes to get to know Alia better, Alia thinks she might not have enough fun with her, but that wouldn't stop Alia from giving it a try. After Takeshi and the other guy leave as they can't handle such a bright table, Sue, getting closer, asks Kuza if he is running on the offer to join the student council. Watching Sue get closer, our grumpy queen, Alia, doesn't like where this is going. He bluntly rejects the thought, but Sue explains how he was a top-notch vice president of the middle school student council, which catches Alia off guard. Although he lets Alia know that it was just to help Sue, the president and vice president had to team up. Moreover, Sue reveals how Kuze can handle such serious tasks when he needs to, which she bet might come off as a shock to Alia. However, Alia mutters in Russian that she has known that for a long time. Afterward, Alia shares how she never thought this ugly loser had a female friend as well, but this dude reminds this chick that she is her female friend too. It came as a shock to her as she walked out in a hurry. A few years ago, Kuze ran off to the field to find a blonde Russian chick waiting for him in the playground, and she invited him to enjoy the sunset. Suddenly, Kuze wakes up and wonders how the lad mastered Russian just to talk to that chick, but he doesn't remember her name at all. The next day, Kuze and Alia got the duty of cleaning the classroom, as this ugly loser did a perfect job before Alia made an entrance. Although this chick's fury knows no bounds seeing Kuze wake up this early. He notices the dirt on her knee, and Alia mentions getting hit by a splash from a passing truck, but she got spares. Upon asking, Kuze talks about not joining the student council at all. Moving on, Alia notices him blushing to see her thighs, so she orders Kuze to fetch her socks. After that, she asks for his help to put it on, which catches him off guard. Alia calls this a reward for helping her out, but she mutters in Russian that it's a reward for her too. With a sigh, Kuze wonders why she likes hiding behind Russian to express herself, calling this a new technique to vent her stress. After Alia calls him a wimp, he forcefully puts her sock on her leg and ends up touching at the very wrong place, which wins him Alia's special high kick up his face. After whining about his foot fetish with his sister, Kuze tries catching up with Alia, but Alia mutters in Russian to call him a foot fetish pervert. With his sorry ass apologizing, she apologizes for kicking him this hard. Just then, she gets closer to see if he hurt his neck, but that sends a shiver down his spine. Suddenly, he blurts out his thanks for showing something nice to him this way. And boy, that came out really wrong. Alia, with her eyes wide as saucers, wonders if he has seen through her undies. A sudden smacking punch blows this ugly loser away as he watches her run like Flash. Now these two are sprinting in the corridors, chasing each other like Tom and Jerry. After 10 minutes, these two catch their breath on the stairs. Kuze straight up apologizes for being an utter fool as she admits her fault too. Out of the blue, he whips out red bean soup to present to his princess as a token of his apology. Though the lad knows it is her favorite, she excuses being thirsty to have a sip. Just then, she mutters in Russian, asking if he would like a sip, which jolts his brain, thinking this chick needs an indirect kiss. But this dude has no courage to confront her. Alia suddenly laughs, saying in Russian how this dumbhead knows nothing, as Kuze has had enough of this crap. Yuki calls Masachika into the storeroom for help, hence he is surprised to find Alisa there. It dawns on him that Yuki set him up. After a while, they all start organizing the storage room. Yuki asks Masachika to retrieve the games from the upper drawer. Thus, the boy brings down the games and hands them to her. Yuki then tells him about the game she played the other day. However, Alisa interrupts them and tells them to work more and talk less. At this, they both get back to work. Funnily, Alisa mutters to the boy in Russian to give her more attention. She assumes he doesn't understand the language, but to her surprise, Masachika does, and he gets flustered hearing her say such embarrassing things. Meanwhile, Alisa is feeling proud, thinking that she's making a bold move at him, while he has no idea about it. Little does she know, she is making a fool of herself. After some time, they all complete the work. The girls then say thanks to Masachika for the help. Suddenly, Kenzaki comes there and introduces himself to Masachika. It appears he is the student council president. Kenzaki then tells Masachika that he heard how talented he is. Meanwhile, Masachika notices the boy has a strong personality. Masachika then says goodbye to them and turns to leave. However, Kenzaki stops him and tells him that he feels bad for leaving him empty-handed after all the help he did. Hence, he tells the boy that he will buy him dinner. But Masachika says no to him. Thus, Yuki urges him to accept the dinner. At this, Kenzaki invites both girls to join them too. After some time, they are at the restaurant. There, Yuki is praising Masachika for all the work he did. Surprisingly, Kenzaki offers Masachika to join the student council. At this, the boy shakes his head and tells Kenzaki that he is done with the student council work since he did that in middle school. Yuki also urges him to join them so that they can work together. Masachika still doesn't want to join. Surprisingly, Kenzaki informs the boy that Elisa and Yuki will be against each other next year for the president position. After some time, they leave the restaurant. Kenzaki and Yuki head home together. Meanwhile, Masachika and Elisa are going together. While walking, Masachika asks Elisa if she is really going to run for the student council president position. At this, the girl says yes to him. After a while, they both went home. Masachika goes inside his home and finds Yuki lying on his sofa. She then informs him that she is staying at his house tonight. After that, she is teasing him for walking home with Elisa. Surprisingly, Yuki is Masachika's little sister, but no one knows about this at school. The next morning, Yuki wakes up Masachika and tells him that they have a date today. After a while, they watch the movie, then they go to the mall. There, they both are shopping when suddenly they notice that Elisa is watching them secretly. Hence, Yuki approaches her and catches her off guard. Thus, Elisa gets embarrassed and fumbles to maintain her composure. Yuki then asks Elisa what she is doing there. Hence, the girl informs her that she came there for clothes shopping. After that, Yuki asks her if she had lunch. At this, Elisa says no. Yuki sees her chance to set her brother with Elisa. Hence, she tells the girl to come with her for lunch. However, Masachika interrupts her mid-sentence and asks her if she is thinking of taking Elisa to that restaurant. Yuki sweetly asks him if he has any problem with it. At this, the boy angrily tells her to go somewhere else if they are taking Elisa. All this time, Elisa is watching them confusingly. She then asks the boy what's the problem. Funnily, Masachika shuts up at this and keeps a grumpy look on his face. Meanwhile, Yuki asks Elisa if she dislikes spicy food. The girl thinks about it and says she doesn't have any problem with it. Thus, Yuki informs her that they are about to go to a restaurant that serves spicy ramen, but if she doesn't dislike spicy food, then she can join them. Masachika tells his sister to stop playing safely. Hence, he informs Elisa that it's just not spicy. That place serves super spicy ramen. Without wasting a minute, Elisa tells them that she will go with them. However, the boy is still not convinced. Hence, he tells her that if she doesn't want to come, then she doesn't have to force herself. At this, Elisa becomes angry and asks him if he has any problem with her presence. Masachika hurriedly clears that it's not like that. After a while, they are standing outside the restaurant called Hell's Cauldron. Funnily, Elisa is looking scared seeing the restaurant. They then go inside the restaurant and take their seats. Elisa reads the menu, but she can't understand the dishes. Hence, Yuki helps her by telling her about the dishes. Elisa then asks her what the infinite hell dish is. Thus, Yuki informs her that it's a very spicy dish that numbs her entire mouth completely because of the spice. Masachika suggests she order Pool of Blood Hell since it's safe to not go adventurous on her first order at a restaurant. Hence, all three order this dish. After a while, Elisa tells Yuki that she is dressed quite boyish today. Yuki laughs at this and states that it's a day off, so she goes with this for a change in her private time. Elisa seems uncomfortable about their relationship. Seeing that, Yuki decides to tease her more. Hence, she tells her that she was in bed with Masachika this morning. Funnily, the boy chokes on the water. Meanwhile, Elisa's expression gets dark. Yuki ignores their reaction and continues to tell her that she wants to wear something different today. That's why she wears Masachika's shirt. At this, Elisa looks at the boy and asks him what's the meaning of this. Funnily, Masachika starts panicking and tries to clear the misunderstanding. Thus, he tells the girl that Yuki just showed up at his place, entered his room, and jumped in his bed all by herself. Boy, you are digging your own grave. As expected, Elisa doesn't buy this and continues to look at him accusingly. At that moment, the waiter serves their order and saves the boy from the girl's wrath. Funnily, Elisa starts sweating seeing the spicy dish. She then gathers her courage and takes the first bite. She starts sweating even more from the spice, but is determined to prove to the boy that she can handle it. Hence, she continues eating. However, Masachika tells her not to push herself to eat this, but she says to him that it's good. After that, she starts saying in Russian that she can't eat this. Yuki sees her struggling, and like a devil, she tells her to put a more spicy sauce in the ramen. To look tough, Halika puts the sauce on and takes a bite. Funnily, she lets out a scream after that. They are now waiting outside the restaurant for Yuki, who has gone to do some shopping. The boy buys ice cream for both of them. He then asks Alice why she wants to be student council president. At this, the girl gets offended and replies that she wants to aim higher. After this, the boy tells her that she has to run as a pair in the council, hence she needs someone. Thus, the girl states that she will find some random person to be a vice president to support her. Suddenly, she tells him in Russian to join her. Hearing this, the boy gets a flashback of a girl crying. After that, Elisa tells him to go shopping with her. Hence, he agrees to go since she doesn't have any friends. At the store, she picks up some clothes and goes to the changing room. She gets angry thinking that the boy is pitying her, that's why he is being nice to her. Hence, she plans to blow his mind with her fashion sense. Thus, she changes some clothes and shows them to the boy. Every time, Masachika gives her compliments on the dresses. Funnily, she wears a revealing dress to show him. Hence, she opens the door and gets embarrassed to see Yuki there too. She then mutters in Russian that she wants to disappear. After a while, Yuki and Masachika get off at the same station to go home. Meanwhile, Elisa is still embarrassed about the earlier encounter. She then comes out of her embarrassment and realizes that Yuki and Masachika went out together. Funnily, she looks disturbed by the prospect of them being together. Alia steps into her home, and as soon as Masha sees her, she runs to her and locks her in a hug, which gives Alia a good feeling. Then Masha tells her to call her Wani-chan in Japan. After they go inside the room, Alia sings down to Masha, so she asks her what is up with her. Alia says it is nothing, but Masha nags her to tell. Alia turns and looks at her and tells her that she just met Kuza and his childhood friend. As Masha hears that, she says that Alia gets worked up when it comes to him. Well, Alia knows she is not wrong, and Masha asks if she likes Kuza. But Alia says that there is no such stuff going on and they are just friends. That is how most of the heartbreaks happen, leading men to join gyms and girls ending up with a black baby. Masha then asks how they became friends because she knows that she hates indifferent slackers. Well, 6 years ago, when Alia was in school, she got a group project and she aimed to win in it. Her part was to look into local businesses, so little Alia goes to different shops and gets to know about them. The next day she shows it to her group and they all sound very unserious about the whole thing, which makes Alia very mad and ends up being in a fight with them. Later, the teacher announces that there was some other group who got the best project. That makes Alia very sad and she walks home gloomy and tries to come up with some explanation. But everything comes down to one point and she thinks no one is as driven as she is. She promises herself that she would do anything for herself. After a while, Alia clears one of the toughest transfer exams and the students are totally fangirling over her. Later, when the class starts, she notices a guy who slept all through the class. Alia wakes him up and the guy yawns and asks if she is the transfer student who gave the speech. She says yes and introduces herself. The guy says that his name is Kuza. But Alia notices that he is one slacky student and he is not even good in PE. She thinks to herself that slackers are everywhere, even in such great schools. Then, as the spring passes, summer arrives and students are getting ready for a festival. She overhears a student who says that there is no need to be so worked up for just a festival. Alia feels like it is all coming back to her and ends up hurting herself with a needle. Suddenly, the gate opens and Kuza enters the classroom, and he says that he knew she would still be here. He tells her that she should go home now, but Alia wants to do some work. So Kuza tells her that the Handicrafts Club said that they would help them out with the costumes. Then he shows the permission to stay overnight at school, and it only took place because he could pull some strings. Further, he says that this is why he said that she should go home because there is no point in working all by herself. As soon as she hears that, she stands up and gets angry and asks him what he means by that. All she wants is to make this a good attraction if she is going to be participating in it. Her eyes get teary and she says that she does not want to compromise on the quality. Of course, that is just her ego making her go crazy like that. In the end, Alia says that she is the only one worked up here for it because she is interested. Then Kuze says that she is putting in efforts in the wrong things because things like festivals are supposed to bring them all together and not something to be seen as a race. She realizes that he is not wrong about it. Kuze says that it really would piss her off even more and says sorry. But he says further that he is seeing what she is doing and he appreciates that. Alia picks up her bag and says that she is going to leave now and walks out of the room. As she walks down the hallway, she wonders what is the thing with him. Later, the students start to work on the festival all together and they all seem excited and motivated. Along with them, Alia joins in too, and she is enjoying the whole thing too. The festival is then held in the school and everyone enjoys it quite a bit. An after party is held and it looks very soothing. Alia looks at the students and walks by Kuza. Then she asks if she can sit with him, and he asks if she won't folk dance with the rest of them. That makes him ask if she doesn't know how to dance. She says that she knows how to do it, but she does not want to. He tells her that people call her the Ice Princess, and she surely does not sound pleased about it. Well, of course, no one wants to be called a loner in other words, but she is more mad about the princess part because it makes it sound like she is a silver spoon snob. She does know that she looks pretty and has talent too, but never once has she been coasted on that alone. It annoys her that all her efforts get ignored in favor of her birth. Kuze says that it makes sense, and he will not call her that again. She thanks him, and he asks for what. Alia explains that he was right all along and she was wrong, because if she tried to do it all alone, she might not have been able to see the festival this way. Then she says sorry for lashing out on him the other day. But he tells her to not think about it that much. But well, she says that she wants to repay him and does not want to hear no for an answer. He can take her to an empty classroom and then, well, let's just leave it at that. He says that there isn't a Russian custom where people call each other by special nicknames. She says that her family calls her Alia, to which Kuza asks if he can call her Alia. She asks what is in it for him, to which he says that she is the glory of their class, and everyone would think that she is closer to him than anyone else. Alia wonders if he is right in the head, but he is just happy for this gift she gave him. Then some boys come behind her and ask if she would dance with them. They begin to fight over who would take Alia for a dance, and she says no to all of them, but they are eager. Kuze sees her being weirded out by them and takes her hand, saying that she is already taken for the dance, and she walks with him. She thinks that her heart will explode. Kuze brings her to the ground and says that she said she used to practice ballet, so she can pick up folk dance easily, so now he wants to see what she got. The next day, Kuze sleeps in the class and Alia looks at him with anger, to which he says that she is looking at him like he is human garbage. Alia calls him a waste of space, and here's when the story ends. Coming back to the present, Masha is so pleased to hear that story and thinks that this is a beautiful beginning of a love story. Alia says that there is nothing like that. Masha giggles and says that friends to lovers is a classic progression. She opens her locket and says that Sa and her were the same too, friends at first. But Alia shuts her up by saying that she should brag about her love life somewhere else. The next day, Kuze walks into the students' council office to cover up for Yuki. There, Masha sees him, and she says that she is Alia's big sister and student council secretary. Then Kuze tells her his full name, and she gets a bit startled. But she covers up by saying that she was just happy to meet Alia's friend. After that, they leave the office and go to get some stuff for the office. Masha comes up with the thought that they should get a plushie that looks like each student council officer. Kuze says that the girls might like the idea, but it will make Prez uncomfortable as heck. Later, as they walk, he wonders if she has always been so eccentric. After that, she makes him hold the plushie to try a cup of red tea. He gets a flashback of his parents getting separated and clearly looks sad. Masha walks up to him and hugs and pats his back. He feels very familiar and calms down very much as he is locked in the head pat. Suddenly, he felt something hot on his back, and it was the red tea that was touching his back. Now Masha panics and drops the tea, and well, someone's got a burn butt now for sure.